vibe, got the 1942 pouring in my cup. In the session real loud, good gas, yeah, you know we about to roll it up. Bring the bottles to the session, big tab, go ahead and just live it up. Get lit one night, after that, we can go ahead.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon, and we here on 95 South Podcast once again. I know it's been a little minute, basically, because of the holidays and everything. It's been kind of hectic or whatever, but you know, we back. And first and foremost, want to thank God for this opportunity to be on here with my brother from another mother, so we could talk about these great topics. You know what I'm saying? Your baby mama's favorite radio host, Mr. Barry White Jr. himself, my man Jacob the Great. What's going on, fam?
Man, what up? What up? What up, man? Had a good holiday. Got to see some family, some friends, and just a whole vibe, man. My motto is family over everything, man. So, I value family. I value the the greatness of great genetics, great bloodlines, and just family coming together, man. We're in a time that a lot of people don't value family, not like our grandparents did, and you know how they kept it tight. Whether you was blood related or whether you was just from the village, they still considered you as family. Because I can tell you, everybody and their mama ate at my grandmama and my mama house. So you know what I mean. So when they fed all, and just kept their family. And a lot of my friends who I ain't seen in a minute, when they come back around, they always ask about my mom and talk about my grand. She passed on, but they just tell me, man, that meant a lot to them because a lot of them didn't have that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, man. But we're in the building, man. Another great star-studded episode. We just gonna talk about a few topics today, and
Mm-hmm.
we can get to it.
Yeah, go ahead and get us started, because I know this particular topic that we about to talk about been on your mind for a minute. So we're gonna start off with your topic and then go into my topic.
All right. So music streaming versus physical copies. And so I think that the music industry as a whole, without artists signing a 360 deal, streaming is nothing but a 360 deal. You mean to tell me that your music ain't even worth 99 cents with all the hard work, the writing, up late night hours, the studio time, the video production, um, you know, um, trying to convince these promoters to put you on a show and screaming. Okay, so you mean you got a million streams, but that's only $7,000. So you mean to tell me you got a million streams and you can only get $7,000 off a million streams? That's crazy, and that's only through Apple Music. That ain't
Mm-hmm.
through all the other platforms. That's Apple. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And you see more people put up their Spotify link than their Apple links.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think that and you can tell the music industry took a shift when it came to streaming, man. When it came to the digital aspect of music, it took a crazy shift. I remember when artists that I didn't even know was hot in the streets. Cause the DJs had the mixtape or had the music. They were selling 10, 20, 30,000 out the trunk. And some of the artists like Texas and Memphis and Atlanta and certain parts of Cali, man, they were selling 500 to $1 million out the trunk, man, within 9 to 10 months. And so we talking about you selling 500,000 at $5 a piece. You definitely getting the bag. Even in a couple months span, if you selling 10,000 at 5 million, you still have made a couple grand. And a lot of artists can't say nowadays that they make a couple grand off their music in a month just off sales. Now, when it comes to music licensing, you're doing radio campaigns and you're doing video campaigns. That's different because that can be a reoccurring check. But I'm just talking about sales in general. That's why sales are down 40%. You know what I mean? but sales are not down 40% in country music. They're not down 40% in gospel. They're not down 40% in jazz, blues, and southern soul, but they are in R&B and hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really think from the streaming aspect, it can be good for artists to get known, to get on these playlists so people can hear them. I'm not saying it's bad all the way around, but I do really think when an artist is dedicated blood, sweat, and tears, he eat, live, and breathe music, and just to not even be worth $1 per song, I think it's a big rip off to the artistry of the craft, and I think it devalues the artist's craft in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm. So, babe, so this one I'm gonna give people. I'm gonna educate people on something or whatever. So why I want to say this though is that I do feel like when it comes to the streaming side, the one thing the record labels don't do is they don't really educate their artists enough on how many different platforms they can use. So artists can actually, it's probably, I went to a seminar last year with my man Brian Irby from One Nation Under God or whatever, and my artists or our artists assigned under them also under Universal, and his uncle was there, and his uncle was doing a seminar and basically talking about how it was over maybe 700, 800, it might even been more than that, different streaming platforms across the world, and a lot of artists and a lot of the labels is not telling these artists this. The labels make the artists feel like it's only a few, like Spotify, Apple, or whatever. Maybe TuneCore or maybe whoever. But it's way more streaming services than the labels let the artists onto. Now, to get back to the physical side of it, so I'm looking at this now. So it's a store in Riverdale. And if anybody's really interested in getting their music heard, well, let me say this: it's a store called DBS Sounds. It's on 6604 Highway 85 in Riverdale, Georgia. They've been around for 20 plus years. Back when I used to stay in the area, they used to do they do in store signings. So basically, at that time, this was around 2011, I think it was. Whenever 2 Chainz's first album came out. And at the time, this would probably been 2012 because I was in radio at that time. So um, we went down there and he had an autograph signing for his first album that he did. And so there was a few stores. So at that time it was DBS Sounds and it was Camp, whatever, DJ whatever, over there by Greenbrier Mall, down the street from Greenbrier Mall off of Campbellton Road, down that end. Those are the only 2 stores I know for sure that was still around. Now, I went into his store probably about a year ago. I think it was last summer, not this past summer, but last summer. And he was talking about how it's probably maybe 750 urban stores across the country. I think another 1,500 to 2,000 of mainstream or what you want to call it, pop, country, whatever music, record stores across the country. Now, he told me this personally that the last 2 years was his best years in record sales, meaning CDs, vinyl, even some tapes that people had bought, and he won like record store of the year at an event earlier this year. So so it wasn't even a year ago actually, probably maybe about 6-7 months ago when I went. So I'm saying that to say this, that they make us believe that urban music, hip hop, R&B, whatever, doesn't sell when it comes to CD and vinyl, and that's a flat out lie. It does still sell or whatever. And a lot of people, even Charlemagne said this on his show the other day. He said that some people buy vinyl and don't even have a record player. So some people still buy records or CDs, whether it's for the nostalgia, whether it's for the just the habit for a item, a collectible item, whatever it is. CDs and records are still selling. And even when I put the post of this, somebody said, well, it's probably old school music. No, it's not just old school music. When I went in there, he had the new DJ Khaled album. I think it was a few other people albums that was out. He said he sold pretty good on those. He still does in-store autograph signings, or whatever. So I don't know that's set up now. It may not necessarily be autographing. It may be autographing the CD. It may be pictures, but he still does those type of things. So I'm saying it to artists. If you still want to do physical sales to make your money on whatever, call this store. I'm gonna even give you his phone number because I know he would appreciate it. Call this store. Call this number. It's 770-997-5776. I forgot the owner's name, but talk to him about doing consignment. Because as long as you have your stuff registered with the barcode and the whole nine on it, he will work a deal out with you to put your music in his store and sell your or whatever. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? And I would say I would encourage any artist to call any record store that's near you that you can get music to, or rather, or have a call around to find out what stores you can get physical copies in, and put your music into those physical stores, especially because see that this is where streaming and album sales and radio all go together. Now I'm about to educate y'all, and Jacob, you back me up on this if I'm right or wrong. If you put your music on radio, now what happens is when you get a report every week, you'll know exactly where your music is being played. So let's just say, for argument's sake, you put your music on radio, and now that you get a report, and your report says you're getting your music played in California or Seattle or Idaho or whatever, New Mexico. Now you could say, okay, I'm doing good in New Mexico. I'm getting 50 spins. I got 50 spins last week in Mexico or New Mexico, or 50 or 30 spins in Seattle and 20 in LA or whatever. Now you could say, well, let me call a record store in that area to find out what record sales are still selling CDs or vinyl. And then you order you a certain amount of copies and put them in those stores. That way you can make your physical money, and you're not waiting for streaming to pay you to rape you. You know what I'm saying? Because basically that's what they're doing. Streaming services is stealing your money. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you get 1 million streams and you're only making 7 grand, how is that making any sense? And you putting 100%, especially if you're independent, and you putting 100% of your bread into doing this. It's not like it's no middleman or nothing. It's you doing all the work and putting up all the money, and you only making 7,000 off of $1 million, off of 1 million streams. So you chime in, my brother, and you tell me whether I'm right
It,
or
it,
wrong.
it, it makes no sense. I was listening to Master P, and he said he tried to educate artists, but they don't listen. He was like, versus the old school dudes, like he was like, nah, we don't get $100,000 a show, but we might do, you know, uh, 7, 8 shows in a month's time at $40,000 a show. Man, he was just saying, like, look how much Dougie and MC Light and Rakim and Big Daddy Kane still get. He was like, I remember, and he was talking about CIAA weekend in Charlotte, and he was like, I remember, and I was there that year. I was actually at that event, like, cause I asked the promoter. I said, man, you got a lot of legends in here, man. He had MC Light in there. He had Big Daddy Kane. He had Chubb Rock. He had Dana Dane. He had Special Ed. He had Slick Rick in there. He had Rakim in there, and he said, man, all of them range from in $25,000 to $40 a show, and and this place held about. It was an old grocery store, so he turned it into a nightclub. So I I know is man, that place had hold about 5,000 people and or more, and I know those tickets was like $85 a ticket, and so I said, man, this club owner won, boy. $85 a ticket at 5,000 people. You do the math. He won. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So what he made off the event and what he put in, it wasn't even close, man. It,
Yeah.
and we ain't even talking about what he made off the bar. You know that whole weekend, that from Wednesday through Sunday. You know
Yeah.
that's another 40, 50,000, 60,000 off the bar. So, and then Master P just said that versus what we was getting when we was physical copies. He's like, man, it was 19.95 for most No Limit albums, not just mine, but most of the people who signed with No Limit.
Mm-hmm.
And I can pretty much say that everybody who signed under me at least went platinum one time.
Yeah.
We talking about $19.95, you know, and you sell 1,000,000 copies. You do the math.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and he was just saying that a lot of people make so much money back in that era. Today don't even have to worry about the money. He said the reason why artists want to charge so much for shows because they ain't really making no money off sales.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He said if you look at an artist and in their streams, that's one thing. But if you look at an artist, he said if you look at somebody like a Drake or Rick Ross, or he said if you look at 50 who ain't made music in 20 years, how can he go over in Switzerland and sell out 80,000 and the tickets be sold three months in advance versus some of these new artists, man, they shows in the US flop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
it,
that's
what
because one, the record labels are basically buying streams. So they buy streams to make the artists look bigger than what they are. And then when the artists actually come out with that full album, then the album flops because it's a fake. It's fake. It's like a mirage. It's like being in a desert and thinking you seeing water and there's no water there. So that's why you see a lot of these artists because even like somebody posted the other day that basically the female artists have taken over hip hop, but the sales is down 40%. Why? Because be honest with you, there's no substance in the music anymore. So at the end of the day, and then you have so many artists at one time, they flooded us with so many female artists at one time, you don't know which one to really follow because all of them doing the same exact thing. See, the thing about it is when hip hop first started, or and it started to really bubble, you had artists that all were doing something different. LL, doggone Run DMC, uh, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, uh, Kumo D. All of them were doing. They had content, but they were all Slick Rick. They were all different in their own way. They all had their own stamp or their own kind of signature thing about them. So when you look at a Meg Thee Stallion, if you look at a Cardi B, if you look at a Nicki Minaj, you look at all these artists, you look at whoever you want, Ice Spice or whoever it is, what is their niche that's different from everybody else?
is
Glorilla the
gimmicky.
only one different because she sound like a dude when she rap. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, hell, if I wanted a girl to sound like a dude, I just listen to a dude that rap. So she don't really do nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so when the albums hit, you might like the song, but do you really like the artist? See, back in the day, we actually fell in love with the artist, not just the music. You know what I'm saying? So we wanted to gravitate. We would stay in a line we would go to a store at midnight and stand in a line like how you would do for Madden. That's how we would stand in line to get the new Nas album, the new Biggie album, the new J album. You know what I'm saying? So now, you know what I'm saying? If let's just say they put all this music in stores and sold it, and you had to go to the store to stream it, or how have you bought it? If you just say you had to stream it or you had to go physically buy the stores, how many artists would you stand in line for these hip hop artists today and stand in the line to buy their music? You know what I'm saying?
Man,
That's
and
that.
I don't know about the icon standing in line for these artists today nowadays. No, I don't know about that.
Think about.
I don't,
I'm gonna say this before you say what you got to say. Think about what Barry Gordy did. Barry Gordy would say, back in the day, he would say he would have a room full of people. If you had $6 left, would you buy this album or would you buy a sandwich with your last $6? And he kept doing that until they said, I will buy this album over this sandwich. You know what I'm saying? So
Right, right.
yeah.
I can dig it. And so, and then I got into the conversation about the DJs, and don't get it twisted, DJs. I salute you. I salute you because y'all put on for these independent artists and y'all spin records but I heard DJ Premier say if we take the laptops and the CDJs away, how many people really could how many DJs really could DJ?
Mm-hmm.
So I took it where he was saying how many people can really play that vinyl, because you guys be a special DJ to play vinyl and mix it in together, and
Mm-hmm.
mix songs in with vinyl. That takes skill, man. That ain't something you just that take practice. I,
Mm-hmm.
I, I remember DJ Premier and DJ Who Kid and Cool Kurt and DJ White Owl. How them guys say they used to be in their mama's basement for hours and hours and hours practicing, at least 4 or 5 hours a day, until they got it right, and they finally threw their own party, and then that's when they start getting noticed for throwing their own parties. So
Mm-hmm.
my thing to people is the art form, the craft, the real craft. You know what I mean? Like how many people will really interject with the real craft to really understand how it got started and to do your history, and how many will take the time to see if they can accomplish what these pioneers accomplished as far as when it comes to scratch, and when it comes to uh I got a homeboy I grew up with. I remember when we started messing with this music business, man. He had a 4-track beat machine, and everybody was getting beats from him, man. Everybody, a 4-track beat machine. And I asked him some months ago. I said, "Man, you still got that?" He said, "Yeah, man. I still got the 4-track beat machine." You know what I mean? And then I will give these kids their props. These kids that use the program Fruity Loops and get them a MIDI keyboard. I hear some of these kids production sound better than our favorite producers out there. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I be listening to them like on SoundCloud and Audio Mac and the beat stores and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, what this? And these kids be like 16, 15, 16 years old, man. And they
Mm-hmm.
be incredible. And so the thing is, you have to study somebody to be great. You just can't jump out there and just think you're gonna be a musician. You know what I mean? Because I call hip hop artists musicians, because anybody that can come off the top of their dome and they can ride a track, that's a form of being a musician to me. Like it ain't for everybody. And some people that's rapping, they should never let in hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Never, never. It really hurts your eardrums. Man, you have to put some eardrops in your ear after you hear their music, man.
Yeah.
So, so with that being said, the physical copies, the music screams. I'm not gonna say the music screams is all bad, because it do get artists that we never knew some notoriety. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, you got to kind of really understand that there's more streaming besides Tidal and Spotify and Amazon Music and Apple and Deezer, and like you said, that's 700 stores, and people only use probably the 5 main stores. That's it. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. You know what I mean? When they say streaming on all digital platforms, that's the farthest thing from the truth, because it's not streaming on all digital platforms.
Nope. Nope.
It's
Not even.
streaming on a few digital platforms. It ain't even close.
Not
And
even.
then real distribution, TuneCore, DistroKid, CD baby, that's not real distribution, man.
Mm-mm.
Just like shout out to One Nation Under God Records, you know, and shout out to my man Brian because when we sit on the phone and talk about real distribution, where he's distributed through Sony and Universal, and the breakdown of how distribution works, because he's been in this business and because he deal with these major companies, it's a whole total breakdown. You can't even get a person from a distro kid or symphonic or Empire or Connect Music. Oh my God. Don't get me started on Connect Music, man. You can't even get nobody on the phone to really talk about your distribution, to talk about your payout. You know what I mean? These companies just
And I still want to talk about Boosie. I want to talk to Boosie about that. If I ever see Boosie in person, I'm gonna say if you say you're a real one, then whoever's you was dealing with Connect Music was on some bull jive. So I hope he's still not connected with Connect Music. So anybody hear this and they know Boosie, tell them to holler at me because you was in some bull jive if that's who you affiliated with was Connect Music. But anyway, go ahead, my bad.
yeah. So with that being said, man, and I I hear these artists say stuff about screaming this, screaming that, man, but I have not heard one indie artist talk about music licensing. I have not heard one artist call and ask, "Hey, Mr. Jacob, man, I want to talk to you if you got some time. I even pay you a consulting fee. Um, is there any synchronized music agents that you can plug me with, or you can set up a meeting for?" Nobody wants to talk about music licensing. So,
Mm-hmm.
because to get your music license, yeah, there's a fee you have to pay, but we talking about movies, films, documentaries, web series, TV series. We
Mm-hmm.
talking about video game placement. We talking about Walmart placement. We talking about Target placement. We talking about Doctor Off placement. But when we talk about this sync licensing, and I tell artists, I talk to a few. I say, man, your music is too rugged and raw for me to even plug you with my people that's sync agents that can license your music. What that mean? I mean, you don't got no clean music, man. Every other song is a cuss word. You know what I mean? Like I can't put my name on that. My name and my brand is everything to me, like yours is you. But I can't put my name on that. And
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to really change their music. I remember when I first I remember when I first started talking to somebody and learning about the music business. This was back in like 1997. He said, "Now Jacob, any artists you deal with, they need to have a clean and a dirty version.
Mm-hmm.
They because this is gonna be for the DJ pack. You know what I mean? And artists don't even use DJ packs anymore, which is crazy. And you have the fleet DJs, you have the beast mode DJs, you have the vertical DJs, you know, you have the core DJs, and there's a coalition DJs in every state. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really see artists using these record pools. The artists that I know, and I can name one of some people's favorite artists. How Jeezy got hot is through record pools. How
Mm-hmm.
Gucci Man got hot is through record pools. How Rick Ross got hot down in Miami is through record pools. How Plies got hot is through record pools. You know what I mean? Because you got to think each record pool got about anywhere between 5 to 50,000 DJs sharing music with each other. You know what I mean? It's just like when you do terrestrial radio campaigns, artists, different program directors are friends that have been friends for years, so they really share music. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? And people now. This is something you got to chime in on. People nowadays have got so far away from terrestrial radio until they think that they don't need terrestrial radio no more, or clear channel no more. They can just use the streaming services and put their music on social media. Who has manipulated these artists?
Well, first of all, social media has manipulated these artists. But think about this for a second. If artists want to dress like, they want to talk like, they want to do everything like a mainstream artist, So, but what do you hear mainstream artists on? Mainstream music, on mainstream radio. So at the end of the day, radio has to still matter because the people that's getting the biggest bags, the little babies, the Meg the Stallions, the whoever you want, whoever your favorite artist is, Cardi B, Ice Spice, who all these artists are, they're on mainstream radio. So at the end of the day, that's still what's going to get you your bag because you got to think most mainstream radio stations only cover their own area or whatever their fan base. Like they may be heard across the world, but their core fan base is in their city. So if you're in Charlotte or Greensboro or you in Atlanta or you in Miami or you in LA, New York, whatever, Chicago, if you in Alabama, let's just talk about the Chitlin circuit. Let's just say your song is on in Birmingham or in Tuscaloosa or it's in somewhere in Mississippi, or Tupelo, or it's in New Orleans or Baton Rouge. If your music get played in those areas and it's bubbling, what you think gonna happen? The promoter's gonna call you. Man, your song is hot as fish grease out here. We need to get you out here. You know what I'm saying? What's your ticket? Now you can say, oh well, I start off at maybe 5, 10 G's, whatever. You know what I mean, or whatever your number is. Now all of a sudden you in Louisiana. You know what's gonna happen? Louis, they gonna hear about you. The promoter in Mississippi might hear about. Oh man, okay. So they gonna call you. So now you're doing a whole. You're doing a whole tour. So now you're going from Atlanta, and not just Atlanta. You might be in Augusta, Macon, Valdosta. You know what I'm saying? Now you get called by the colleges doing their little show, doing their homecomings and stuff like that, and their parties and stuff. So now you go and look at like a Boosie. Boosie will tell you some of his biggest markets is the Chitlin circuit. So he running up now from Florida through Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and he getting paid $40,000-$50,000 a show running up and down. You know what I'm saying? The East Coast or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
So now, what I mean, and that's just and he and him himself, they mainly going off of his old stuff, like Wipe Me Down. But Wipe Me Down is still big in those cities, and Wipe Me Down is still in radio rotation, mainstream radio rotation.
Right.
He ain't getting shows and Wipe Me Down because he's streaming on YouTube. Getting booked for Wipe Me Down and all them songs because it's still in radio rotation. I guarantee you that. You know what I'm saying? I bet you, and because of that, of course, he got his core fan base. But I'm just saying, these artists don't believe the hype to say that you don't need mainstream radio. You need all of it. Artists is artists today want to like take a little bit and then leave the rest. No, in this business, you got to take all of it. You gotta utilize every resource there is to be able to get to maximize your career. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way you have to do it. If you really want to get out here, you have to maximize your career by using every resource you got, whether it's college radio, whether it's mainstream, whether it's online or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because online radio, first of all, let's just throw it out there. If you bought a package to get online radio play, you may get 2,000 plays in a month for $300-$400. You know how far that's gonna go, especially if you got the whole world playing your stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know how far, how much you can get a campaign as big as paying get 16,000 spins for $1,000 or something like that. You know how many 16,000 spins is? That's a lot of dang spins. And if you spread it across the world, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of spins, and your music is everywhere. But you got to take advantage of all of it to be able to really maximize it. If you really want to take this business seriously, like Jacob will tell you, like I'll tell you, you need a couple of $1,000 a month. If you can't have at least I would say dedicate 500 to 750 a month to your career each month if you can do that. At least give yourself that kind of leeway. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? If you can start off with 500 to 700 a month, I guarantee, and put it in the right places, and don't listen to people that don't know what they're talking about. Get with actual people that understand the game. I guarantee you'll start seeing some results. You know what I'm saying? But you got to get behind your own self. You got to put money behind yourself. quit looking for somebody to give you a free ride, because it's not gonna happen in this business. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
Right, right. And in this business, man, it definitely take networking. And
Mm-hmm.
artists, you can't sit behind that computer, man. You got to be outside.
Yep.
Like me and my man Icon is in the podcast radio world. Covering live events and stuff like that. Live interviews at different events, and we done ran up and down this road, man, so much in the last year. But you know what? We can be out somewhere in another area, and people ask us what we do, and and we tell them, man, you heard of 95? Yeah, I know who that is. And we talking about people that's from Wisconsin and Cali and St. Louis and Arkansas and places like that. Places that he probably been because he in that transportation industry, but places that I ain't touched down yet, that I done passed through, but not really networking. But just saying, like, they really recognize, like, when you network, people gonna recognize you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just think that, like, when it was open mics back in the day, man, it would be about 50 artists, but you will have another 275 people there, fans that came to see what the artist got.
Mm-hmm.
But now, people then shot away from the open mics because the open mics was ran badly. You know what I mean? They wasn't ran to the professional expectation. You know what I mean? Um, and I shout out to Ugly Money Niche, man. He just signed a major TV deal with Dame Dash, and he's trying to bring that open mic series back to Atlanta. You know what I mean? But it's gonna be on TV. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him for inking that deal with American New. You know what I mean? And shout out to my man Maul. Maul just inked the deal for his podcast with American New with Dame Dash as well. So Dame is growing his network, and he's giving cats a chance that mainstream people wouldn't normally give a chance. So, cause
And,
he
and,
cause,
and
cause
before
he
you
knows
keep
the
on,
business, huh?
and we're gonna say before you keep on, I'm gonna say this: it's that's where the open mic scene needs to go to. See, the thing about open mic scene, the real reason why it fell off, because it never evolved. You know what I'm saying? So now you saying they're gonna put open mic showcases and stuff on TV. Now that's a way to evolve it. So now it's gonna make artists, it's gonna make sense to artists that, okay, I'm gonna be seen on TV now versus just some ducked off club in Bankhead or whatever. You know what I'm saying, or whatever small town you from. Now if I can be on a platform where I can be seen on TV and the world can see me, that's gonna be a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Right,
but I,
right, right.
I
Well, so man, we're gonna get into your topic, because we got about 20 minutes left of this hour, and so we're gonna get into your topic, which has been an explosive topic all over social media for the last couple months, and you had men to chime in on it, but women started, so men fired back, and so I didn't know that it would be a time and day, and we will live in the era where where women would say that the cheesecake factory is too low budget for them to go out on a date, and where they said that they need brunch is $50, lunch is 80, dinner is 175, hair and nails done $400, and all of these requirements. And so, when did it get that way? Because I don't know when it got that way, and why is it more so about you know uh, your money, your status, how you dress, and not really getting to know a person. Because people out here having sex with people, and they don't even know. They don't know each other from a can of paint. They just know what they see on the outside appearance. So it intrigues them, and and then they'll be out here having sex with a serial killer and won't even know it.
Well, okay. Before we get to that, shout out to Kimmy and Senior Village Global Network, our 10 radio stations across the globe, 100 radio countries, and She Real Radio, T Dub Entertainment Radio. If you want to book us for anything, hit us up at 95 South Podcast at gmail.com and subscribe to our YouTube page at 910 Sports and Entertainment Network. Please subscribe to our page. Please, 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 please. Anyway, but going
Okay,
back,
okay. Before you said that, I just want to say shout out to the Chosen One TV network, distributed by Fox, and shout out to my man Sam P working hard. I see he's adding a lot of different states. You know, he's got a lot of new content coming out, man. And shout out, man. So catch us real soon on the Chosen One TV network and which is distributed by Fox News, man. You know what I mean? So I
yeah,
come back to you, and we do have a message. OG Butler Jr. was good, man, and he says PPP loans and social media change the game up with the unrealistic expectations, brother. So, can you chime in on that topic? That's interesting.
yeah, definitely. Because I talk to people all the time when I'm whatever around the country. I tell people all the time that PP loans basically gave people a false expectation of how life's supposed to be because they got that free money and they got lazy and then basically it's like I said, I think I said this the other night, that basically it's just like giving a wolf blood. You know what I'm saying? Once that wolf tastes that blood, he gonna keep wanting it. Once a person get a taste a little bit of bread like that, they gonna want to keep getting it. And then when you cut them off, and now they can't get it, now they gonna do anything they can to go after it, or whatever. So I just think that what I'm saying, that little bit of money right there gave people a false expectation of life in general, and created this fantasy world. So now the economy all screwed up because people don't want to work no more. And when they do work, they halfway doing it. You can't. Chick-fil-A used to be the number one customer service place in America. You go to a customer, you can find, you might run up on a Chick-fil-A now and get some of the worst service you ever got. You know what I'm saying? Because now people go to work now, they don't care if it's Chick-fil-A or a doggone Burger King chicken. They going there's bad customer service everywhere
Well,
now.
I ain't.
You know what I
You
mean?
know what? I would say this. I've never experienced that. That's the one place that I've never experienced bad customer service from is Chick-fil-A.
Well, I would say slower, and not maybe not necessarily so bad, but dang sure slower. Chick-fil-A used to be like, I don't care how bad that line was. Chick-fil-A line, the line could be going around a block down the road, and they getting you up out of there. Now Chick-fil-A, you don't get that same fast customer service you used to get. You don't. Now they pulling you up like Burger King and McDonald's is talking about, pull up to the front. We gonna bring your food out to you.
Lord Jesus, have mercy.
Chick-fil-A
Well,
be like that. You know what I'm saying? You know
mm,
what I'm saying?
boy,
So,
but yeah, man. But the PPP loan, because you had people who got millions of dollars already that's now going to jail for fraud, just like the white couple out there in Nashville, Tennessee, but he made his fortune in Atlanta. Todd Chrisley and his wife.
yeah.
They already made millions of dollars in real estate, man. So why would you fraud the PPP loan, man? Like what? Who does that, man? That's pure greed. And you know, but I come back to you, man. This unrealistic list that's going out. So you better not never take like you've been married for 22 years, and you have a daughter. So and she has friends. So if they in the living room talking, and one of your daughter friends tell her, "This nigga better not take me to no cheesecake factory. What's wrong with him? What I look like?" And you hear it. What's gonna be the first thing that come to your mind?
You ain't well. First of all, I don't know where you think we about to go, because this about to, this ain't good enough, then we can't be rocking together. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what you thinking, because the only thing past that would be probably only thing past Cheesecake Factory next up would be Roof Chris, maybe Papa Do's. Papa
Benny
Do's is probably
Hannes?
in the same the same level as maybe probably of a Cheesecake Factory. So I don't get that part. You know what I'm saying? As far as the cheesecake, because Cheesecake Factory probably cheapest thing on the menu, probably dang cheesecake. You know what I'm saying? Or one of the appetizers. So once you get to the steakums and all of that, you paying some bread. So I don't get this whole thing. And my thing is about a first date. Your first date should be about you learning each other. I don't care if you went to Applebee's for drinks, if you went to Starbucks for coffee. It should be about you learning the person that's across from you and getting to know them. It shouldn't be about how much they can spend on you. Because I'm gonna tell you what happens is if you let's say you take a woman out to Ruth Chris, or you take her out to Mr. Childs, or you take her out somewhere real expensive. Now every time you go out to dinner, that's what she's going to expect every single time. You know what I'm saying? So now you can't even really go down, especially if she's on that level. If she's on that level of I have to eat here every time. Now, this is where the unrealistic part comes in. Can that woman do that for herself? If she can't do that for herself, why does she expect a man to do that for her every single time? Or even on a first date? If to me, if I'm on the phone talking to a female, shoot, I might want to ask her, like, what's the best place you ever ate at before? And if she tell me the best place she ever ate was Applebee's or Chili's or whatever, then it may be one of those things where I say, you know what? After this first date, we'll go here to one of her favorite places she eats at. Then if it works out, then I'll take you to a Ruth Chris, or I'll take you to a Papa Do's if I got that kind of bread. But we not about to start off with just you telling me and we can't do all of these things based off of what? You know what I'm saying? Are you Beyonce? Are you Cardi B? Are you Lala somebody? Who are you to tell a man he can't take you to certain places that are pretty much by the time you go, even if you went to Applebee's and let's just say, I ain't gonna say you got to get a 2 for $25 because that's kind of, that's kind of like what's the word I want to use? Not cheesy, but that's kind of like that'd be a turn off if I were you out on a date, you tell a woman, oh well, we can get something from the 2 for $25. Let her suggest that, but don't you do it. So let's just say she get her own meal, you get your own meal. Your meal costs 20, 25, hers costs 20, 25. Now you pay 50. Now you got, let's say you bought some drinks. Let's say you got top shelf Long Island's. That's another $10, $15. You get two or three of them, you at $100 bill. You still got to tip the waiter, waitress, whatever. So you're going to tip the waitress 20%, that's another 20. So now you done spent $120 on a meal. You going to tell me $120 on a meal for one night ain't good enough? You know what I'm saying? What you want the man not to eat and then put all the money behind your meal? So all that I get not going to concerts because that makes no sense on the first date. I get you don't want to go to a man's house and you don't want him coming over your house. I get all that. I get not going to a movie theater. Makes no sense on a first date. So I get all those things. But there's other stuff y'all talk about, like that's just crazy, ludicrous. Unless a man trying to take you to a fast food restaurant or Waffle House, no, you know what I'm saying? I would, if that's what a woman would say to me, if I was single, I'd be like, yeah, you might deal with a woman with a low self-esteem, and unless that's just what she like. Back in the day, I used to deal with girls who came from certain environments, and their favorite food was Burger King, and they didn't want nothing else but Burger King. That's all they ever wanted. You know what I'm saying? I was 19, 20 years old. I wasn't tripping about all that. I tried to take them to certain places and be like, let's go over here, let's go over there. No, they just wanted Burger King. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever.
Man, I can't.
Or KFC.
I didn't dealt with a chick, man. Where we didn't got some milkshakes, sit down and park and talk, and went to a damn like an art museum and seen some artistry that we never seen before, and like that was the date. And I asked her one time, I said, man, so you don't want to go nowhere? She said, no. If I want to go somewhere else, I take myself out. She's like, I ain't really interested in you spending money on me because you don't know me well enough to spend no money on me. So, but this back when I was 22, 23 years old. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And like I said, my, how times have changed. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I think the parenting has changed as well, man, because a lot of times, what these younger women see or have seen is what they do. They don't really have a lot of guidance. And you also have the ones that had great parents, that have great parents and have taught them, but society gives a hold to them and really brainwash them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of tip for tap, but at the same time, dude told me, man, he said, man, I work, uh, uh, I make sure my kids are, I make sure my wife are, man. He said, man, all I want is a hot meal on the stove. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, when I don't work them 12 hours, man, he said, I just want to come home, take a shower, hot meal on the stove, you know, uh, make sure the kids' homework done and just, go to bed and live peacefully, man. He said, but a lot of times in this day and era, you know, you hear people say, I ain't been over no hot stove all the time. But
Mm-hmm.
like this man out here busting his ass, his blood, sweat, and his tears, and he if he taking care of everything and you're a housewife and you good, like why he can't have that, but if both of y'all working, I don't got no problem with y'all taking turns, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, some people really, really got it good, and then when he or she gets tired of the craziness and be like, I can't do it no more, and they find somebody that appreciate them, all of a sudden they the baddest person in the world. That's crazy to me, man.
Now
That,
listen to this. Listen to this though. So I was listening to Shannon Sharpe last night. I was watching it like I seen one on Nightcap with him and Ocho Cinco, and he said when he get a girlfriend and they in a serious relationship, he pays for her car note. He pays for her. He'll pay the rent on her apartment or whatever, their house or whatever she's staying in. He'll pay. The only thing she got to pay is her phone bill. He said now. He said now he'll for family whatever come in, he'll pay for the plane ticket whatever they came for them to come in and have a good time, the rental car, the whole thing, the whole 9 yards. He said the only thing I don't do is I don't open doors. You can open up your own door. Now, how about and then something told me, I said, let me go look at the comments. Now, how about everybody was more focused on the fact that he said I wouldn't open up no doors than all the stuff that he did do? I said, see, this is what we talk. This is what we talk about right here. This man said he gonna do everything for you. Only thing you got to pay for is your phone bill,
mm,
and you still focusing on. He said because he said I was raised. Oh, he said I'm old school, so I was raised a certain way back. Whatever. Well, if you was raised a certain way, you should have been taught to open up a door. And I'm like, come on now, listen. If the man paying for everything, like I heard some woman say, shoot, he doing all that, I'm opening up his door. Exactly. So if the man
mm,
paying everything, see, this is the thing I don't understand with women. What are you offering? What are you really giving a man? Because I even heard a woman say this. She said, "Your coochie ain't enough. Your vagina ain't enough to keep a man. What else are you really doing for that man to really? You can't just say to a man in 2023, well, I'm giving you some, so that should be enough. No, a man got certain needs too. We may not talk about them as much, but we got certain needs too. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm going to say this. So I'm watching this dude, shout out to the guy named Latrez on TikTok. I think he's from like Georgia too, like Albany or Macon or somewhere. And he does these little skits every day. So he was in the store, he was in the grocery store, and he had a buggy. And he was picking up different items. So he picked up like some Fruity Pebbles or Fruit Loops, and the girl in the back saying, "Oh, you can't, a grown man can't eat that." So he put that down. So he was like picking up some paper towels. She said, "No, grown men don't use paper towels. What you gonna use that for?" Then he picked up a bottle of wine. She said, "No, a grown man can't drink bottle of wine. He gotta drink hard liquor or beer." So now we're in society now where a woman is telling a man what he can't eat, what he can't drink, what kind of music he can't listen to, all this stuff to make him look like if he a man or not. But I'm like, okay, if that's the case, then if a man grows up to be this way, then what is that saying to you about a woman? That means you're not raising him to be a man. Because if you telling a man is wrong for these things that he's eating or liking, if that's not manly enough, then that means you didn't raise him right as a mom, or because we got more single moms than we got men. So if that's the
So
case, which
hold back up. I come back up.
which
Technical
is
file on
which is bull job.
technical file on play. Tech. It's a technical file on the play. Tech. So you saying if a man have a glass of red wine, she said he's soft?
That's what the skit was implying that if he drank any kind of wine, that basically he gets soft man.
Well,
You know
whoever said that, and the reason why he did the skit because he's trying to make a point.
exactly.
Whoever said that, then they really ain't never been around any classy and elegant type people. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Which is men and women, because it's it's certain dudes I know, no matter what culture they from, they like to have a glass of red wine. You know what I mean? With their meal. So, or is she going out with people who drink, malt liquor with with their meal? Like what? That's the most dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. You're soft because you drink red wine. Yeah,
Or
okay.
you drink wine, period. Because my thing is some of the biggest entrepreneurs out there, that's what they sell is wine. And my thing is every type of alcohol serves a certain purpose. If, like you said, if you had a business meeting, you ain't gonna sit around and be drinking no doggone OD. You're gonna be drinking a glass of wine, or maybe a glass of champagne or something like that. If you had a business meeting or whatever, and you having that type, it's that type of meeting where you could have a few drinks or whatever. You're gonna be drinking something more lighter. You
Yeah.
ain't gonna be drinking vodka and all that other crazy stuff at those type of things. If you out with a young lady, you know what I'm saying? Your best bet is probably to drink some wine or whatever. You don't want to get sloppy drunk and y'all trying to get to know each other at dinner or whatever the case may be, or whatever. You're chilling or y'all having a romantic dinner at the house. You don't want to be drinking all that hard stuff, then wake up next morning with a hangover and you know what I'm saying, and then mess around and don't know where you at because you done drank that hard liquor. So I think it's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life, but it just goes to show you how bad society. Because like I was telling the glass guy I was in the Uber with, and I said the problem is I don't like people telling me what I can and can't do or how I can think or whatever. I watched this movie called Old Men, and I want you to check it out too, Jacob. It got Bookman Woodbine in it. The black dude from the bald headed dude from Jason Lyric. Uh, he was in a few movies. I don't know why.
What streaming service is that on?
It was on Paramount, I think. I sent it to you. I think it was on Paramount. Because my daughter pulled it up for us last night, and we watched it. So I'm not sure what streaming service she pulled it up on, but it was real funny. But it was basically these three older men who had a company and got bought out, and but they was real. They had real opinionated. They real opinionated men. And basically, of course, it was our age. They was around our age, maybe a little older, talking about how the generation behind us, how soft they was, and how this, that, and the third. But I'm like, my thing is, I don't like nobody telling me. I understand us being sensitive to a certain degree, but if I don't agree with what you say or what you got going on, why can't I have an opinion about it? And if you don't like my opinion, then let's have a discussion. But don't just counsel me or just tell me like I can't do this or I can't do that or whatever because or I can't say this or say that, but for whatever reason, because that's hypocritical. So you can do whatever you want, but I can't say what I want. And I'm gonna say this last thing. Think about this, Jacob. Me and you grew up in the 80s and 90s. Everything we taught that was wrong, now you telling us everything that we was taught in the 80s, 90s that was wrong is right now. And some of it is biblical. So some of it ain't just your grandma, your mama telling you. Some of it comes from a biblical nature. So now you telling me that God is wrong by you telling me what my mom and grandma told me was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So people don't
Right.
look at it from that standpoint. They just look at it from I want to do what I want to do, so I'm right and you're wrong. No, I'm not wrong. the thing about it is what you're doing is wrong, but you're trying to justify your wrong by telling me that I'm being insensitive about your wrong. You know what I'm saying? And we all got wrong about us, every last one of us. But we don't go around telling people that they can't that they wrong for telling us that we wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, that's you right. You right, man. Like time changed so much, man. So, I'm gonna stick to my guns. Um, people be like, "Why you always say, man, we was raised different, man? Cause we was.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see a lot of stuff that y'all seen early in y'all life. I ain't
Mm-hmm.
see that. You know what I mean? So we was raised different, man. Like you might be more hard nosed than me, and can face a lot more challenges in society than I can face, but I don't have to face them because I don't really put myself around that type of situation, and so
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to face those challenges, man. And so, I just say, man, that's crazy, man. We not gonna agree on that because man, we was raised differently. And people get it twisted. Like, so what you saying that you was raised better than me? I never said that. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really know how you was raised. I don't really know what type of parenting your parents have. That's not for me to decide, or that's not for me to speak on. But I know that I was raised different, and
Mm-hmm.
and people get upset. So that's all I got to say, man. But man, it's been a very, 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 very good episode, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we just wanted to get this first one out of the holidays out the way. We're gonna keep coming with guests and special people on the show, and you know what I mean. 2024 right around the corner, and I know we're gonna have some special shows coming up or whatever, and we just gonna keep pushing this thing to the limit. You know what I'm saying? Until the wheels fall off, and hoping the wheels don't never fall. So till next time, everybody have a blessed evening. We catch you on the next one. You know what I'm saying? Peace and love and all of that. You know what I'm saying? When we out.
Out.
We got the good vibes, got the 1942 pouring in my cup.